Thank you, sir. I'm blushing now. This is like very embarrassing. But anyway, I think we should give a big hand of applause to Autodesk for arranging this amazing night. Let's do it. Thank you. So let's talk about something important. Let's talk about something exciting. Let's talk about virtual reality. And I think that one of the things that I think we're all sensing is that virtual reality is going to change the world. But personally, what I think is the most exciting thing with virtual reality is that for the first time ever, we're going to democratize access to experiences. And let me explain what I mean. I have two young daughters, Alexandra and Athena. They're 7 and 11 years old. And they love virtual reality. And typically what they want to do is that they want to paint things in tilt brush, or they want to go underwater and visit the whale, or travel to a distant planet and experience Mars. So they are, for the first time ever, going to experience these things that only a few could do before. You had to be Jacques Cousteau or maybe Neil Armstrong. Only a few people could go where they could go today. So we're democratizing access to experience, and I think that is probably the most exciting thing, and that's going to change the world for all of us. So probably what you've seen with virtual reality is that we're going to turn our imagination into reality. We're going to go into these distant worlds. So some of you have tried it, and if you haven't, try out the demos. But I want to give you all sort of a quick look of some of the experiences that was launched last year together with our great partner, Steiber. So let's have a quick look of what we see in virtual reality today.
Walking into the couch, walking into the walls.
A little bit louder, please.
Oh, this is so cool. I can't even want to stop.
Look at this thing.
Got him. So this is typically what happens during the weekends. And so what will happen is that me and my wife, we will have dinner with our friends, and I have a good friend here, Nick, here tonight, and she will tell me, Rikard, let's not do virtual reality tonight. And I will say, no, of course not, of course not. And then Nick will come after 4 glasses of wine. He will come and say, do you have the new Star Wars? Could we go, and we'll look at them, and they're talking, and we'll kind of sneak away. So, but I think the one thing with virtual reality is it's kind of hard because it's like the Matrix. You really have to take one of the pills and go down the rabbit hole and experience, because it's hard to explain virtual reality. So mixed reality that you saw here is a great way to sort of explain it, because what we do is that you have a camera filming you doing your silly stuff, but also the camera has a tracker on it, so it's also filming in virtual reality at the same time. And then in real time, we can put it together and we can sort of show it on the big screen TV at home, or we can record it and share it with your friend. So I think keep in mind that when you get into virtual reality, if it's design or something, it's a great way to sort of show how it's done. So the exciting thing with virtual reality is that we will be able to achieve something called full presence. And what full presence means is that when you have your visual system totally immersed, your auditory system, and also your body and your motor system, what happens is that the experience becomes so real that your brain has to decide if the virtual experience is more probable to be real or the real life experience. And if you are doing the storytelling, if you do a couple of things right, people will think that they are in a different world. So I want to give you an example. One of the most terrible experiences is something called the Brookhaven experiment. It's one of those wonderful games where you don't have to think so much. You get a flashlight, you get a gun, there are zombies coming against you, try to stay alive. It's very simple. But what's interesting is that your body is the controller. It's not that you just sit there and shoot, and so you actually have to move around, and you dodge, and you change weapons, etc. So your body is the controller. So the best way to sort of explain how real life is to have a guinea pig. So I'm going to show you a quick video of Grandpa. Grandpa is 81 years old. His grandchildren just bought the Vive. They unpacked it, and they put Grandpa in the Brookhaven experiment. And if you look in the background, you'll see that the package is still there. So they just put it up. So let's have a see how Grandpa is doing.
Mom, he's gonna punch you, Mom. Jenny, scare him. Jenny, scare him. Grab him from behind. Grab, but duck.
No, no me tanto piñazo. No, Jackson.
No lo voy a empujar.
Ese soy yo.
So this is what to expect. So you're totally there. And what's happening is that some of the games, one of my favorite games is something called Raw Data, where you're also playing together with someone else, either with each other or against each other. So what's happening is that as the technology evolves, you're going to have a physical avatar in the space. And what happens is that when you can see yourself and you can see your opponent interacting and talking in real time, voice over IP, it becomes even a more immersive experience. The other thing which is truly amazing with virtual reality is that as you are in this and you interact with objects, you will have an attachment with them. And there was this study in Consumer Journal of Research which did a study in shopping malls. So basically what the study said is that if you picked up a product, I don't know, a shampoo bottle or something, and you touched it, and then you put it back, statistically, you're now more likely to pay more money and buy this product than if you haven't touched it. So you have an attachment because you touched the product. But what's even more interesting with the study is that even if you didn't touch it, you just imagined it in your mind that you picked it up, the same effect. So there's an opportunity for brands and anything to basically form emotional relationships in virtual reality, just like we're doing in real life. You remember you shake hands, or when you tell a joke, you put your hand on someone and you create this bond. So you can create those bonds in virtual reality. So if you ask some of the leading thinkers, we would say that we're on the bridge of a new computing platform, a new computing revolution. So we all remember the rise of the PC, the web, the mobile, and now we have virtual reality. Some other would say that actually, no, it's not a computing revolution, it's the way we interact with computers. So if you think in the early days, you had your keyboard, then you got Windows and mouse, and then you had your mobile touchpad, and now actually you're sort of stepping into the computer. You are interacting with the computer, you are the controller. So what's interesting, if you remember all these computing platforms, in the early days of each of these platforms, it was the geeks, the gamers, the early adopters. So, of course, it was gaming happening in all of these. But it wasn't gaming that made the PC big or the mobile big or the web big. If you think about your mobile usage today, you're probably using it to take photos and tweet and do some emails and some messaging. Of course, you're doing games, you're doing entertainment, but that's not the main thing. So with virtual reality, we're in this early phase where, of course, it is gaming. But as we move forward, there will be new types of content and new types of categories. We don't really know what it is, but we have some ideas, and I thought I'll tell you a little bit about them. So the first one we're super excited about is how you can experience things in a much more immersive way. So education is something, as a parent, I feel very, very passionate about. So education, we think that things like creativity, design, architecture, artists, we believe that social, it may seem like a very unsocial experience, but think about your Facebook or your Google or your Twitter experience. You're sitting there, very not immersive, way, I got a like. So I mean, you're going to be immersed and actually talking to avatars, so you're going to have a much more immersive social experience. And of course, Hollywood. I mean, we've been looking at 2D movies for forever, and now actually we're going to step into the movie. We're going to be in the movie. We might even be the main character in the movie. And of course, brands, shopping are going to be, when we buy our car or buy our next travel destination, we will have a feeling for what it is before we buy it. So we'll see a rise of all these things. But we launched the product 9 months ago, so it's still in the early days. So what I thought I'll tell you a little bit about is some of the things we learned working with developers around the world and what they told us. One of my favorite experiences is Everest VR. So basically, you can go to top of Mount Everest. But the thing that they told us is that they package the experience in sort of small modules, almost like a little storybook. And they also told us things like how sound is much more important than we may think, because if you're in a virtual environment, you can look everywhere. So sound cues is really, really important for you to look the right way. They also told me when you're on top of Mount Everest, of course, it's like hard to breathe, right, because the oxygen. So what they can do is that they can actually, by adding sound of your own breathing, they can raise your pulse. They can affect your mood state. So there's some very exciting stuff. So I thought I'd show you some clips from Everest. Maybe we can increase the sound a lot. You do not want to jump off this one. So very, very impressive, very visually stunning. And it's all from actually real photographs from National Geographic and others. The other thing which is interesting with virtual reality is that it's not necessarily a passive experience. So as you see, you're interacting with objects. And some of the most successful online experience, if you think about Minecraft, for example, the consumer is also the creator. So what's happening in the world is that we're moving from where there's sort of a world where the distance between the producers and the consumers are being reduced. So we're all part of the content creation. We're doing videos and photos, and it's becoming easy for us consumers to create things and share that with our friends. So I want to show, this is one of the most popular experiences, which is called Fantastic Contraptions, where you can build fantastic contraptions. So let's have a quick look. And then they can work and they can shoot things. So much fun. Probably the most famous application today is Google's Tilt Brush, where you basically can go in and paint and create in a three-dimensional space. And if you haven't tried it, you should definitely try that. One of the most fun things, and actually one of the most embarrassing applications, is an application called Mindshow. So in Mindshow, they focus on creating things like shows. So you can basically step into a character, you act out yourself, you record that, And then you can share that with your friends, and they can act out. You kind of build this sort of movie. So let's have a quick look.
Welcome to Mind Show, an app that lets you create, share, and experience shows in VR. Choose a set. Place your props. Pick your characters. Bring them to life. Record your performance.
Crash landed on an alien planet.
Play it back. And share your show. It's a whole new way to tell stories. And this is just the beginning.
So the amazing thing, when you walk on this wing, I can guarantee you that you would not step one step forward. You would not. You would not. So let's do a quick survey here. How many here, when you were younger, did sort of proud yourself of doing like mixtapes and want to be a DJ or want to play an instrument? Hand up. Okay. So I have kids now, and you know, if you go to some birthday party and you don't like them, you buy them like one of those whistles, you know, or a drum set or something. That problem is going to get solved in virtual reality because, as it turns out, you can create great music in virtual reality. So let me show you Soundstage. And this application is basically done by one guy and his toothbrush. So let's have a look. So as you can see, there is no limit to what you can create in virtual reality. And of course, great thing with things like music and art is that you want to share it with your friends and collaborate on it. But it's not just these funny graphics. Actually, virtual reality is becoming more and more where the cinematic world of 360 video and real photos and the CGI, the computer gaming world is meeting. So Björk, for example, Icelandic rock star, been experiment how to take music to the next level and capturing herself in 3D, not just as a photo, but also as a video, and creating all kinds of immersive experiences linked up to her music. But actually, you can capture not just a person, but you can capture the entire world. And I worked for many years at Google, and we were so proud of what we could do with our technology, like Google Earth, and raise awareness around what's happening with deforestation in the Amazons or coral reefs of dying. But actually now, with Google Earth coming into VR, all of us and all of our kids, for example, we can go anywhere on the planet. So let's have a quick look on Google Earth in VR. So you can travel anywhere. Yeah, it is amazing. It is amazing. You can travel anywhere possible, but also everywhere impossible. So a good friend of mine called me like a month ago and said that he's going to build an electric car battery factory and compete with Elon Musk out of Stockholm. Could be a good idea. So in order to sell this idea to investors, he of course needs to show the factory, which was clearly not built yet because he needed money first. So of course, all the things I just showed you is also going to be very applicable to the 3D design and creation world. So I believe that the way we've been doing three-dimensional creation in terms of visualizing things and simulating things, and also of course collaborating and sharing things, is of course going to change forever. Why would you sit in front of a 2D screen when you can actually do things in 3D? Or even maybe work in 2D, change automatically in the virtual world, and change things in virtual world, update on your 2D or drawings, etc. So that's definitely going to change. And the good thing is that with virtual reality, it's not about the future. It's actually already here. So I thought I'll just show some of the things that our friends here at Autodesk have available to us today. I think home decorating, we're going to take that to a new level. So as you can see, everything is possible. And one of the things we've seen is that how brands and also enterprises are starting to adopt virtual reality. And it's not just in the design process or training or collaboration, but it's very much also in the front of sales and marketing and presenting your products. So there was a very talked about product launch from Jaguar. And basically what they did, they basically launched their car in virtual reality, and they created this experience there where multiple people could interact with the car and find out more information about it. And it's not just they launch cars in virtual reality these days, but also you can actually, like BMW, you can take it for a test drive. And actually the games people will say that's, we had Grand Theft Auto driving for a long time, so, but actually you can have the BMW experience. And another great experience from Autodesk is this one, where you can be multiple people checking out your next Porsche, for example. So not only can you have a feel for what the experiences look like and how the car looks, you can talk to each other, and of course, you can build your own car. So why would you go to a website trying to do something there when you actually can have a much, much more immersive experience? So one of the things that are happening now is that virtual reality is becoming much more accessible, and it doesn't matter if it's in your showroom of your car, or you're going to your travel agent and checking out that beach before you go there, or you're going to Disney and having sort of an entertainment experience. What's happening is that virtual reality, high-end virtual reality, is becoming much more accessible, not just on your mobile phone, not just on your game console, but like true immersive interactive VR. One of the things which we've seen, which is my little pet project, is something called Viport Arcade. So you remember the old days when there was internet cafes because people didn't have access to the internet, do you remember? And broadband, so we had to go to a special place to get connected. And these places then also had these high-end PCs where you can play computer games, which not everyone could afford. So what's happening now is that we see the rise of these virtual reality arcades, and they're coming in in shopping malls, in cinemas, the internet cafes are getting upgraded, and you're going to see them everywhere. It's happening in China. Already today, we're in 1,000 locations, and I just want to give you a sneak peek what is coming, because it might be games today, but tomorrow it's going to be Google Earth, it's going to be the creativity applications for you and for your family. So let's have a quick look. Higher. What I want you to do when you go out and have your final drink, have a think about who will you be in VR. If you could go anywhere, if you could be anyone, and if you could create anything, who would you be? Where would you go? And what would you create? Because it is happening now, and you have the unique opportunity to basically start your new year by embracing virtual reality and help us change the world. So with that, thank you very much.